And do I shoot it to stay alive? Do I shoot it not to give it up? You know, which one is it going to be? But at the end of the day, regardless of the plays that are going to be made, folks, this is going to be a fantastic series between both these squads. We hope you guys have been having a fantastic time throughout the day, because Vanquish and Hive, they're about to give it everything they got. Kicking this one off with precision from Vanquish. And as you see, Demise is going to be picking up these incendiary grenades from down low. We'll see what he chooses to do with them in a bit, because VQ, they will be able to get to that hill, get it capped up, push back these members of Hive. But now Demise needs to be careful with these two incendiary grenades. He's going to go down with them.
A little bit of a different strategy, something I didn't expect to see.
Shielded as well.
Yeah, Demise goes down, gets meat shield. The possibility of those instants going over. Yep, they go over because of that meat shield. Acells, he doesn't connect with that first one, but another opportunity presents itself. Takes out SoLuRs. That was going to be the boom shot player who used that boom shot early on, so no more power weapons in play. Vanquish now contesting the hill. Force is going to go down. That's going to be TJ. Inzem being pushed back little by little, but it's about holding as much position as long as you can to make sure your teammates, when they come off a respawn, they have as much ground as possible.
Yeah, and so far he is giving them some ground to work with, but the respawns come in at the opposite of the map at Pergola. The cross from across map from Inzem allowed him to get the double down, but a quick revive did come through. With those two players being deep in spawn, Inzem says, I need to push up, at least fight a 1v1, see if I can get this guy out the hill, stop them from acquiring points, and he's going to do just that. But that was scrap time. And Vanquish, they've been holding this spawn over here for next for quite a while. On the flip in, Hive have had juice control. Nice shots from SoLuRs. He's got to back up. Takes one to the grave. That's a win. Can't get any more, but Hive, they do have the hill.
Yep, they're waiting for the new set of power weapons. That's probably coming up maybe 30 seconds or so. That's going to be the instant first, then the boom shot. So holding the bottom half of the map is going to be important as they continue to funnel these players up. Precision goes down, quickly revive. Demise doesn't overstep his boundaries, but Inzem does on the flank, trying to make a play. He gets caught out, and this is where you see the players of Vanquish swarm. 3 players trying to push up, getting aggressive. Demise gets shot out from the juice. That is going to be Xysho. And the thing about those weapons coming up is, since these players of Hive are now getting eliminated, they're just giving all up map control. They're giving up weapon possibility. They're giving everything up to VQ.
Ooh, yeah, they gave up a bunch that round, and VQ, man, they're gonna start collecting on the rest of this arcade time in the hill. Not much is gonna be left. Hive needs to start thinking about ATM here in just a bit. And there we go, 26 seconds left on the hill. Sometimes it's hard to see the points as the scroll there towards the bottom of the screen, but Hive, they are in position at ATM, got multiple players in info. Now Vanquish needs to ask himself, do they want to start sending some players through Hotel to be able to thin Hive out just a bit? But they will block off a big angle there with the incendiary grenade, and they are able to get the boom shot as well. So VQ in a great spot, utilizing these power weapons before the hill is going to rotate towards next. And they're doing a great job working for these objectives, working for these power weapons, while it's still scrap time and the hill's transitioning.
Xysho over the top, connecting with that one, trusting his teammates, kind of finish off into the spawn. This is where VQ needs to swarm and push these players out, get control of those back steps, and set up towards the hill. They don't have to worry about power weapons for the remainder of this hill, but they need to figure out how to defend and then be aware of the next set of instants that are going to be up first when that rotation does come through, especially knowing that the hill is going to rotate down there, but there is a full minute left. Vanquish is set up to defend. 2 players coming from the top, and then that split push down towards the bottom. Instance coming out. That was great instance. It was kind of like trying to go for that instant kill, but it's also making sure that the player can't advance forward anymore and gets shot over the top. Another player goes down in SoLuRs. The 2 more players going through with 40 seconds left on the clock. You got to think VQ is either going to look for both of these eliminations or a way to break out early.
You know what one of the worst feelings is as a competitive player when you're competing? To rotate early into control and still not get into the hill time, right? Like it sucks, you know. You come up with the play, you put yourself in these positions, but something went wrong there and it all broke down. And for me, it was just the power weapons, you know. Hive, they rotated for next, but did they play into a factor which weapons were coming up and how they want to defend them? Because maybe their line of defense wouldn't have been so far back because if the power weapons are coming up before the heal is rotating, then that's what you should be setting up for, those objectives. Then you use those to go for the heal. And we saw Vanquish play it perfectly, as Hive pretty much gave him a free heal during this map. So as we're getting geared up to go down low towards Bandstand, you're gonna see Xysho gets one, gets taken out, but Hive, they're in position to get some time off this heal. They need to win the 2v2 fight. Precision's gonna get backed up here just a bit, and Hive could collect on some time, but they need to watch out for the pinch.
They get the boom shot yet again. This is going to be important. They need to be able to hold the majority, if not all of this time, to get as close to 100 as possible. Inzem gets one, but he gets taken out over the top. And Xysho yet again, but SoLuRs wins his exchange down low along with TJ, so they're able to hold off of this hill. They need to be very, very aware of the spawn players. That split spawn to come through. Demise had to have called that out where he's going to come from, which gives up the location to VQ. SoLuRs gets one. He gets help. They get two. Doing a good job here of defending off this hill, but Hndles being a nuisance gets both of those downs early on. It's going to be up to Inzem here. He gets two. Inzem still battling for three. Reenacts and relocates himself to reload, and he gets help. This is not over yet, Blaze.
Precision moves in, gets the final 2 kills. Inzem's gonna have to back it up here just a bit. But VQ, they know that new boom shot is coming up here in just a bit. Incendiary grenades as well. And they got about 27 seconds to collect off this time. They'll get those incendiary grenades first to rotate towards Pergola. We'll see if the transition and the rotation works out for them to be able to get that boom shot as well. But Hndles in a 1v1, gets smoked out. TJ doesn't budge, knows he doesn't have too much room to move, as players watching out for the exit, as players pressing the front, but TJ holds the back line. Acells trying to make something happen, almost, but in the end, it's going to be Hive. They need to take care of the 2 players of VQ left in the back, and then they'll have themselves a nice setup here at Pergola. So far, so good, but Xysho, Precision, holding their own. They did their best, but Hive can now collect off time here at Pergola. Now, Jacob, that boom shot's coming up, and also Hive didn't get the incendiary grenades as well, so 2 more power weapons they're going to give up here in a moment. And with VQ having this lead, shit, they're gonna wait for everything before they make this next push.
Yeah, they have no reason to. Like you said, they have an 80+ point lead, and they're just gathering all the information while this boom shot comes up. Anybody that tries to contest the boom is either gonna be caught in no man's land or giving up that vital positioning to come through. They only spot one out wide, so they got to imagine the rest of the players are deep into spawn. And we played this game and we watched this game enough to know where everybody should be located at, but Xysho gets first blood at Precision. He's being as precise as possible, and this is what I'm always talking about, the effectiveness of the boom shot. If he got an elimination there, that would have been great, that would have been fine, that would have been dandy, but Vanquish would have been unable to push and make anything of it. So he's going to rotate that boom shot around, catch players on rotation, and set up for next.
So they're going to lock in with the incendiary grenades that they have, and they're going to collect on some free time on Hotel. They may even get about 30. They may even break the 200-point marker because of their incendiary grenades. They're not giving up the single boom shot in which they have. They understand how many points they gave up to Hive just now, but because it's going to be a Hotel hill, look at him. Set up. He says, I'm getting a free 30. Okay, we're going to use our boom shot to win a team fight, get the other 30, get set up, rotate, win the game. So here we go. VQ, the play is set, but is it the right one? So far, so good. Let's see, how does Hive choose to counter this?
Hive trying to go for a split push across the map. Boom shot's going to be used by Precision. 60 seconds left on the clock before the next hill does rotate up. You got to think both of the weapons, or at least the boom shot, is going to be on next rotation. TJ being forced out yet again, Blaze. Like the magician you are, knew exactly what the play was going to be, using those instants to keep them out of the hill, because if you play this map, if you guys are any strangers, there's only one spot on that corner that you can contest the hill, and that's exactly why they're throwing those instants on spot. Now that one's going to go away. They're going to try to keep the hill contested, but I think it's too little too late. The damage has definitely been done. Precision finds yet another one, gets the new instance.
And he gets the new one.
Did he get the new boom as well?
Yeah. Well, no, but based off of when VQ got the incendiary grenades in the lead differential, they knew that they were going to get a second set the whole time. And this is where they're racking up on time, working smarter, not harder. VQ done got 1 kill in the last 3 minutes. Okay.
Oh my God.
That was a beautiful one from downtown. Now with a boom shot on his back, it's going to be a quick pick for him. As long as his teammate can save his life, he will. But he's on his last down. Oh, he knows he can't risk it. He just needs to get the revive on his teammate. We're going back to a neutral hill. Acells with the flank. a boom and a hand of precision, and now VQ strategy, we see it coming to fruition. They just have to pick up these kills and get to Cinema, but with Demise making some big plays, this is where Hive, if they got any opportunity to turn this one around, they have to do it now.
I like the way Precision is playing right now, just being very, very precise, not wasting that boom shot, throwing it to the wayside, and this is where he got that elimination underneath him. Now is the time to use it, lining it almost to perfection to get two, but gets only Demise instead, but that allows Hndles to push up, gain some footing. The positioning is there. 4 players pushing over, what Toby would call the death ball rolling through. Eliminations going wild, and Acells is going to go ahead and drop. The 2 more players from Hive are going to get taken out. One's going to get baited out. SoLuRs drops, but the revive is there. Back and forth, trades coming through. Precision rolling back and playing as smart as possible. Plays, he still has the boom shot on his back, so the likeliness of him still being on his last down from about 2-3 minutes ago is still there.
He ain't died in a while, bro. Okay, he ain't died since I called out that last play. All right, and VQ has been fantastically just rotating around the map, taking their battles wisely, working together, and Hndles picks up a double kill in info, and I think we just got the intel on who's gonna win his first map. But with less than 50 points remaining, Hive don't have much time to work with, Jacob.
Get those instants. They're going to sandwich Demise right now. Pistol shots and shotgun shots over the cover. And they're going to stagger that death out. Still 9 seconds left on the hill. Great plays by them to try to go up one. Hndles spots somebody from across the map. TJ's getting staggered out as well. This is not looking good for Hive to end this game. The next hill rotation coming through. They already have instance. 15 seconds for boom shot. And the way Vanquish is splitting up right now, they win this fight in the juice. Thankfully that they did. And I was going to say that's another boom shot under their belt. But Inzem winning that one gives them hope.
Now with another incendiary grenade in hand, VQ has the winning strategy to just get free time. Okay, and Hive needs to figure out a way to stop VQ from doing this to him. Rather if the push comes down low, rather if they're forcing some 1v1s. And I think Inzem, he knows that he has to make a play, but the fight lasts too long. It's not much in what you can do. And VQ completely outsmarting, outstratting Hive, out-rotating, out-skilling them in the moment. Hive, they need to just slay out. They need to get loose. They can't overthink it because VQ is so many steps ahead.
That's a very, very important boom shot. TJ taking the reins. We didn't have anybody better kind of use this weapon other than TJ, but this is the thing. With only 15 seconds remaining, they have to leave as many resources on this hill as VQ leaves their resources on the hill, but they have to simultaneously find a way to rotate. That was a big elimination onto Precision. Hive and the rest of SoLuRs at the bottom half of the map. They're trying to find the rest of the eliminations. Hndles goes down. And there goes the boom shot going out. He's going to connect with 25 seconds still plays. It makes me wonder if that was a good boom shot or not, but we shall find out.
Ooh, we shall find out indeed. But Hive, knowing that they can't give up much of anything, they can't overthink it as well. They just have to instinctively be great, find a kill, slay out, and play off each other. They need to find that synergy somehow, some way. But with multiple deaths coming through, Demise is down. They're waiting for incendiary grenades down low. They got about 6 seconds of time before this hill's transition. Maybe 15 in total to make a play. But with more team members dying, unless TJ can be a hero, a superstar, him and Demise together in a moment, pull off something spectacular, it's an L for Hive. And so far, I just think Vanquish ain't about that life. They ain't giving up this win. They ain't giving up this map, folks. Map number 1. It goes to Vanquish, and what a map it was. Just step by step, giving us a masterclass on how to play District Control.
Yeah, they go ahead and they start off hot. Don't let up off the gas. And that's what we know Vanquish to do throughout the Pro League. Even through most of yesterday, barring that comeback sweep to Rise, they were in control the entirety of the way through. And Xysho, 15k damage. That's been the story of the season. If there was a Rookie of the Year, I would almost have to give it to him, but I don't even know if he's a rookie at this point.
Whew, yeah, Xysho is definitely not a rookie. Yeah, nah, he is not one. You know, if anything, he has been he is our newest rising star of the league, as I'll say, because he has been around. He has been an underdog and probably looked over for a long time. But we saw that when he was with that Noble team and the amount of the heart that that squad had, how they fought, how they ended the Pro League at #1 at a certain split. And then for him to be able to go towards his first grand finals and hold it down for the Vanquish fans the way that he did, talk about a rise to the top. That's a story like no other. But, you know, when it comes down to Vanquish as a whole and their performance in this series, in this map, man, you know, it's what we expect of a Vanquish that's in a championship bracket, in the winner's bracket of any tournament in which they play in. And it's so awesome to watch them play because you see them how they take their time, they don't force it. Even when the fights are chaotic, they find a way to take a step back and pull out a pistol, you know, just get a kill and reassess their numbers, and you see the entire team get on the same page.
And you can see those moments kind of when they're in the control of those hills, they're bleeding it dry, and they go to rotate over to next and Hive or any team is kind of set up. They know they realistically have 2, 3, 4 great pushes, because if you make that first push before the hill even rotates over and you lose it, you're just going to spawn out. You're going to get another chance before they even collect a single point. And Vanquish did that a few times in the series. And it goes to ask Hive, how many times can you defend against this onslaught before they just kind of steamroll right through? 300 to 160 is going to be the scoreline. And Clocktower execution coming up next. And being in this position, Blaze, especially on Clocktower, you have a historic pass with it. What does Hive need to do to figure out something to show up in this series?
Whew, man, when it comes down to it, Hive, okay, so this is the two things I got for Hive. One, they're gonna have to keep precision on a leash down low, okay? Because he's gonna have some fun playing for nades, secret manning, some fast flanks and aggressive plays, because he saw what Raver did earlier today, and Raver was having some fun. So down low players, whoever played at the bottom, they want to have some fun as well. So you got to keep tabs on precision most of this map. But also in that, if Hndles can do that effectively, I think VQ can completely outplay Hive in a 3v3 battle up top. Acells, Hndles, and actually Xysho will be the people up there, okay? So I think when it comes down to that, those three players, they can completely take down Hive if they choose to. But Inzem and Precision, they're going to have a battle, a 1v1 battle of their own. And if Precision does not want to respect Inzem, Inzem has to demand that. Maybe it's Inzem making sure that his presence is known on the flank to open up some plays for his teammates up top. Because what's the worst that can happen, right? Inzem goes on the flank. He's forcing attention. And at that point, VQ, they're going to be sending 4 players across. If Hive knows that from the jump, they play from a defensive position, SoLuRs can get some key downs there on back pillar. They can slow VQ down just enough, make it chaotic enough. Hell, TJ can find at least 1 kill in chaos, but you buy your team the seconds for Inzem to have his presence be known on the flank and always be in the back of VQ's mind what he's doing, because you can't make the fight simple for VQ going on Clocktower. If you do so, they're just going to make fun of you, bro. It's just simple as that.
Yeah, it is. And I like the way you said that with Inzem kind of playing down low, because I think Hive on this execution, in order for them to win it or even get close, they need to play more proactive instead of reactive. If they're going to send Inzem down low, confidently send Inzem down low. If they're going to have 4 players up top, send your 4 players up top, get aggressive, whether you're playing for flex and downs or you're playing for that sniper and getting out. You need to do exactly what you want to do and have a little bit of a less worry onto VQ. Correct. Now, when they stop you rounds, then you can start to slow it down and play a little more reactive and try what they're doing from there to stop you. But to start this game off after taking it on the chin and realistically in map number 1, you need to have that pitcher's mentality, forget a lot of the wrongs that you did, start to remember the rights, and then implement it into this round-based game mode.
And so outside of all of our maps besides Tomb, okay, if you're an up top player on Clocktower, if you're playing a 1v1 spot on Checkout, if you're playing that 1v1 spot down low on Clocktower, you have to have a presence every single round. Championship winning teams don't have soft 1v1 players, okay? You can't always be reactive, just defending from the push and rotating up top to help your teammates and then saying things like, yeah, I was the last one alive. What happened to you guys? No, you always have to have a presence in that lane to alleviate pressure from the big 3-man group up top. If you can't do that, you ain't worth your weight. And you know what? I'm gonna hold it off on that one. Let's get into the map, okay? As we're gonna see VQ taking a lot of damage right here, but the snipe was picked up, I believe. And they are going to be, actually, no snipe being picked up. It's still going to be in position. This one slowed down, but you saw VQ try it there for a second.
Yeah, they got those downs, and it did look like you said they were going to try to grab that sniper, but they just too much damage too early. They played the slave fruit instead of just go ahead and backing out and going ahead and playing. Now, if you look at a lot of the utility, Hive doesn't have any, and neither does VQ because they use it live while Hive was trying to go ahead and make that play. So now it's about toying, playing for information, getting those little lance shots to figure out what you're going to advance on to your opponent. Or you could try to have one of those players back out in a certain situation. Could be Hndles on one side, could Demise or Inzem on the other, to try to play down low, stretch the defense, then get the grenades and go from there. There's still plenty of room for options.
Yeah, plenty of room for options indeed. But you see the 1v1 players back up, and they're going to shift on over. So I think this is going to be a battle between Demise and Acells actually in this position here. So, but you need this to be able to open up the gates up top, give your players on the line some room to move around, see what they want to do. You got the players in jail shifting over a bit too as well. Demise took a lot of damage, and Acells knows that, hey, he can hit more shots than him. He just needs to hit him with a pellet. But TJ with a quick rotation. Acells goes down. Player 5 moves up. It's going to be VQ knowing that they have to capitalize. SoLuRs on the retreat. Hive, a full reposition for him. But can he get away? The kill isn't cleaned up. Someone needs to press up on the members of VQ, and it's TJ coming to the rescue. But it's a 2v2 on screen. Xysho with a quick turnaround. The Lancers are going to be out here. The nades, 1, 2, they don't connect. And here comes the pressure from VQ. But Hive with the angles. And they're going to do it here in round number 1.
Yeah, that was just going down to the wire. And this is what I said. This was going to be all-out war between these two teams. And it's great to see, like I said, being proactive, setting the tone, setting the pace, and making your presence known. And I think that's going to be the goal for Hive almost all map long to tie this series up.
Roll out!
All right. Now, heading here into round number 2. We saw a big 4-man rush the last round. Both these squads are going to commit to that off the start. They like the opening initial to be able to stop any quick picks, to check up from their opponent off the start. And now we'll see if it plays out similar to the last round where they play it out for a second and then they just disengage. Hndles tucked deep in that corner, just in case he needs to get the revive for his teammate. Precision's checked up by Inzem. A quick snipe pickup for Hive. You love to see it from their good side. No body shots, but there's a headshot on the cleanup. VQ members out of cover. He knows Precision gets desperate. He knows he has to make a play. But in the end, Hive, they will be able to get the pinch. Acells can't do much there. It's going to be Hive here with their second round on the board.
Back-to-back rounds, setting the tone, setting the pace, getting that sniper. And this is what you got to keep doing. The little switch up. It's those little wrinkles that you throw into the mix that really make the biggest differences. Going for that flex play in the first round, trying to go for those downs, backing out, playing the safe route, doing almost the opposite, but in the same fashion, where you're going for that sniper and backing out, trying to make the bigger play. Looking at the bigger picture almost at all times. The first 2 rounds have been High, all away. 4 players up top almost immediately yet again. Hndles taking a bunch of damage, unable to advance forward. And this is where you're going to see this play out a little different. Instead of getting that utility, throwing out right away, they're just going to go ahead and stagger it out, use it later in the game, that when they find that opening that they need. This, whether if they have a player go down low, it's about that vital information.
All right, we'll see if they can get all the information they need to make the play. As we see, it's another 4v4 checkup up top. VQ having a good side to pick up snipe. Typically, if you're in a position of Hive, you play this one defensively. You expect VQ to make the play, but Hive goes first. The flash is out, stuns TJ. Precision having composure. Xysho moves up for the cross. Precision going for the one shot. He can't get it. Inzem with a quick switch. Demise finds a kill. And Hive perfectly set up on the defense. They see through VQ's play, and now they have a man advantage.
Yep. Advantage here is going to be go ahead and allow them to either play as fast as they want or as slow as they want, knowing Vanquish only has a few windows of opportunity before they have no other choices than brute force their way through. You see SoLuRs and the rest of the members of Hive try to back off towards the line, and this is what having that extra man can do. But somehow Xysho goes and sneaks that sniper, but goes down, getting aggressive. SoLuRs going to make that play, gets another down onto Acells, and gets the eliminations before the revives can go through. SoLuRs and Hive 3-0, putting it trouncing on to Vanquish in map number 2.
All right, a big trouncing in map number 2. Demise still have not died, as well as Inzem. Inzem 1-0, 1 kill, 7 assists. Demise 5 kills, 4 assists. One playing whole spot, the other playing back pillar. It's SoLuRs and TJ cleaning up the kills on the front lines. Both squads and another 4 up top. Now, with Inzem here on the secondary, matched up against Precision. You're going to have Hndles there towards the back pillar for VQ. He's going to be matched up there on the opposite end with SoLuRs. From the whole spot, Demise just looking for any angles in which he can get. Inzem getting a little risky here, but they bait out Xysho. Xysho finds it down. Precision can't get the kill, but Xysho holds his ground, keeps the Lancer out, keeps the active reload, but he can't put out enough damage. Inzem with the focus fire. He stops VQ in their tracks, and SoLuRs with a press gets 1 kill. Looking for 2. With the 3rd shot, he gets it. Sudden death. Oh my. Acells with the finish.
Hoodie SoLuRs coming out for a moment, putting these boys on skates to try to do his best to go 4 in a row for Hive, but unfortunately, I think it was that if he would just reposition himself there, I think he possibly takes it if he can control right hand, but oh my god, double downs going through right there. That was the crucial missed shot coming out from SoLuRs.
Yeah,
to kind of use his right hand to dominate.
Yeah, it was no running from him. You know what? And the sudden death came so quick. When the sudden death came so quick, and at the end, he just made the best play he could, but he knew, okay? He knew that he could not back up from that one. It's just, it is what it is. Great play, but it's been that great of a series, and he knows how talented his opponents are. So, in order to beat VQ, you're going to have to fight every battle, but now Vanquish, they're giving Hive a lot of respect here in this execution, being down. Let's see, how can VQ find an opening here in this Hive defense? Because the last time both these squads were on their respective sides, Hive, man, they were really solid. They stopped those pushes there coming through the mid lane.
And this is where I usually look at the utility SoLuRs. I want to say, okay, so everybody has one on the side of Hive. Everybody has one on the side of VQ. Kind of slower playing these rounds, and that just goes to show is Hive playing a little bit more proactive in a lot of these situations is making VQ play a little bit slow. They're playing a little bit more reactive than we kind of know them to be, and this is why I think they're kind of trailing in this series. They need to go ahead and start these rounds, setting the tone, setting the pace, a lot of it. And if that means going ahead and sending a player down low from Hndles, try to do something different, slow it out, grab the frags, or try to get the trap out when players try to escape with sniper, whatever that may be. Sending 4 up top consistently, you're kind of playing into the hands of Hive the way this one has been playing out. But with overtime starting in less than 30 seconds, that's where this one's going to become a brawl, just like a few rounds before. Lots of flashes, some smokes, and this is where Blaze go and take over while I try to count all the utility.
All right, I got you. 15 seconds on the clock before we get towards the neutral hill. Hndles is going to have some utility to work with. VQ is stacked on 4. It's a 4 stack across the board. We didn't see a single flash this entire round, but the smokes are coming out for both teams. Flash is coming up close, but who can navigate this chaos the best? It's going to be SoLuRs with a point blank and a down. Quick revives come through, but the kills make it a 3v3. VQ in a winning position, but it's 2v1 for Hive, and they will win the round.
Oh my god. Now I was watching, counting the flashes, and I think the biggest difference there was VQ had an extra flash instead of an extra smoke to go through, so Hive had a little bit more cushion with that smoke to kind of play around and get the shots and get the damage and even the revive to come through. So great decision making by Hive, and this is where the round-based game modes, you make that decision before it even starts, before you even begin to roll, whether you grab a flash, whether you grab a smoke, and you can see how deep that really plays into the round, coming down to the very last seconds. Start this one off yet again. 4 players up top, kind of shining the back line, or those down low players that usually play on the back pillars. Everything's pretty normal and standard here. It's shades of the last couple rounds they've been having. No utility wasted off the initial. They're just waiting for their opponent to make a mistake.
You know, I saw Eddie X in chat. Why aren't players going for the nades? Well, the thing is that based off the timing on the initial, if you do choose to want to commit and want to play for those nades off the start, both of these teams have strategies where they can take the mismatch in numbers right away with the 4v3. Rather if that gets them sniped, in which they can transition towards the torque bow, or a few headshots. You got talented snipers in both these sides with SoLuRs and Xysho. But also on the flip end, you know, even if it's just picking up 1 kill and getting that man advantage before the nades can have an impact, at the end of the day, that is still the biggest position you can put yourself in with a guy up. So these teams don't feel comfortable going for the nades. But I say if you got the defensive setup for it, go for it. If you know what your opponent's move is going to be, you should be able to counter. Now Hive, they protect SoLuRs to get out. No kills come through. The reset is there. VQ not able to get it down. Now, I just talked about talented snipers. Well, SoLuRs is one of them, and you're going to see why VQ ran a 4 up top to start.
Pre-aiming these spots, pre-aiming these angles. But Hive, or I should say Vanquish, also know these angles here, but this is where Hive, they have the upper hand here. They have the chance. They can stay up top, threaten with the sniper here, or they can send some members down low, begin to play for that boat, begin to play for that frag grenades, because the hill's down low. That's where you want to get control of those frag grenades, get control of both of those angles, and funnel those players in. Yeah, one player goes out wide, one player gets the frags. I think the defining thing right now is going to be the frags. Let's see this one play out. Acells gets checked. SoLuRs is still checking these players. One grenade going out. Inzem gets one. Acells gets another. Trades back and forth. Acells goes down. 2 players of VQ fall. Demise gets the last one. And Hive get another round. 5-1. A quick turnaround from game number 1.
A quick turnaround indeed from game number 1. Hive showing the executions and the escalations. We can slow it down. Right there, I was like, SoLuRs, if you don't headshot Xysho on that car, but he was so worried about the player in the back, but he committed. He hit his body shots. He knew when to put that sniper up at the right moment and get in there with his teammate. And Hive with a commanding 5-1 lead here on Clocktower. They're doing a great job reacting to everything which VQ was doing, but now Vanquish, they're going for the nades this round. Hive with a quick snipe pickup. It's absolute chaos on the map. 4v4. Inzem has to back up. He needs to dodge some nades, but his teammate falls to his left. He barely survives. A quick wraparound and a walk. Oh, so sneaky. Can't get a kill. His position is exposed, but he has to hold. He gets another. Another down comes in.
Oh my God.
And Hive looking to win the map in a dominant 6-1 fashion. What a map it is.
6-1. Inzem played that one absolutely perfect on the flank. And honestly, when it comes to Clocktower, flanks have been the name of the game when it comes to certain players, and Inzem does it again.
Yeah, the Flames have been the name of the game. But guys, 6-1 for Hive. We are all tied up in this series 1-1. Man, it has been exciting, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we got to break this tie with Escalation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gear Summer Major. We are all tied up 1-1, Hive versus Vanquish. And man, what a series it has been. Hive gave VQ a big L here on Clocktower, 6-1. And honestly, Jacob, I think they needed to do that, because the reason why VQ absolutely destroyed Hive on District, which I thought was probably their best control map. And with that being said, I feel like this series right now, regardless of how we felt about VQ coming into it, it's dead even. It's anyone's game.
It definitely is. Hive really playing a little bit more proactive and just taking the game by the horns. And this is another example right there. Just proving and asserting their dominance in the series. And it goes to show what everybody has been saying. I see it in chat. Saw it on the analyst desk. Even though a lot of them still did go VQ, Hive is one of the few teams that can give VQ a run for the money, and they prove it yet again to not only a victory over VQ in that map, but a 6-1 trouncing.
Yeah, a 6-1 trouncing indeed there. Now we got to head on over towards Training Grounds Escalation. And I'm actually really excited about this. Actually, our last 3 maps in this series is insane, because I feel like Training Grounds Escalation and Regency Control, Hive has a damn good chance against Vanquish on both these maps, especially as the underdog coming into this series, coming off that 6-1 victory in the previous. So with that being said, VQ here on Training Grounds, they're going to have to take their time and set the pace of this game, force Hive to have to play into their hands time and time again, because if they don't do that, Hive is going to keep building this confidence over Vanquish, something that Vanquish cannot allow.
Yeah, and another way Vanquish can, or either one of these teams could really change it up if they start losing 2-0, 3-0, put a big weapon down, whether in the middle, you change up the whole focus of the map, or you put it down towards the U, to where a lot of teams still have to fight for it instead of kind of going up top. But we still got to play the first initial rounds to where it's almost like a bloodbath towards that U, towards the up top overlook. And you got to make sure that your players that aren't even playing towards the hill are as focused and on point as the rest of the team, because that Lancer fire really turns the tides of the fight. And we've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, we have seen it time and time again, man. Who is going to be the most accurate? Who is going to be the most lethal? Who wants it the most? Who wants to take the lead of this series and move on to the semifinals? We're about to find out now. Precision gonna pocket that flash because he knows he has one coming from the back, and now he has a second one to engage if he needs to. He's gonna probably bank this one off the back wall, moved in here on SoLuRs and Inzem, waiting for his time to strike. But you see the communication and the pre-fire coming out behind him from Hndles. And also, I want to say the 1v1 between Hndles and Demise. This is another map in which I talk about 1v1 positions and you earning your check. Demise is making sure that Hndles can't have any influence in this fight, as he's going to force his attention. He says, hey, brother, you got to worry about me. Let the big boys fight on the opposite side and let us have our 1v1.
Demise just putting that shot, trying to check Hndles. Demise did a good job of trying to overextend on the Hndles side of the map. So anything here is Hndles just trying to get his side of the map back. He already wasted his utility, so it's going to come from inches. Lancering these players, pistoling them out. But now it's just an all-out war up top. They know that extra cross isn't there. VQ is advancing. A down coming through, but a quick revive from Hive changes the fight. The eliminations are coming through. TJ leads and staggers out one. Hndles definitely feeling that pressure with that hill already capped. They can easily try to slip past, get that triple cap domination, but they want to take out Xysho first. They want to solidify their positioning, but they have to do it sooner rather than later before the reinforcements come through. And there it goes. Xysho goes down. Change of focus comes through. Vanquish want this neutral. One revive coming through. Elimination on the Demise, going to allow them to alleviate that pressure that was put on them early.
Man, but look at the lead in which Hive built, okay? And Demise putting out that pressure on Hndles. Now Hive, they have to be cool, calm, and collected in this moment and find themselves a decisive heal here in the late game. Now, guys, they went off of one, okay? But Hive still needs to be proactive. They can't feel that comfortable, especially not against this Vanquish squad, because you know that they're hunting, you know that they're setting up plays, and the best way to disrupt their play is to not stop making plays of your own. How do you do that? Continue to play the objective, continue to play for the trip cap domination or map control. However it may be, major or minuscule, you have to always be playing for something. I don't like that turtle game, but hey, I ain't a pro player no more. Here in the moment, Hive, as they're backed up between a C hill and B hill, 8 seconds from winning. VQ, they can't do anything. There's too many plays to be made in a moment. Now, as we head here, going into round number 2, Hive, they proved that, hey, we are here to fight. We don't care if you're Vanquish. We don't care how many titles you have. We want to win this series. So if you're a Hive fan, now is the time for you to make some noise, because I saw how lopsided those channel points were before.
Hey, sometimes that lopsided channel point just going to make somebody rich. At the end of the day, Boltok's going down, though. Standard play when it comes to weapon placements, and I wouldn't expect anything different. When it comes to these two competitors, yeah, like we've been saying almost all day long, it usually goes down to the wire. It usually almost evenly matched in terms of slaying, because they almost have the same genetic makeup in terms of squads. They have a slaying first mentality, get in your face, and we'll worry about it later. But Acells gets the first hop over the cover. He's going to get his position and start that cap to come through, and they know the cross over the top isn't going to come through, so VQ can even get aggressive if they so like.
If they so like. Now, Precision. He's going to use his flash. Demise with a counter flash to help his team from afar. Vanquish wasn't expecting that one. TJ with a down, a quick revive. They're both still in a fight, but it's Hive who will thrive. Xysho can't do much. Now, Hive, how quickly can you turn this into a 2-hill capture, into a possible trip cap domination? Demise gives the intel on Acells. Here comes TJ to help him out. TJ goes for the cap. Oh, no, TJ plays for the kill. Quick damage.
That's those close moments.
To it. If you're an Acells fan, you know that he may come away with that one. Ultimately, the trip cap domination is being threatened, but with VQ off the respawn, triple kills for SoLuRs. What a ref shot that was. But ultimately, what happened from that, even though they don't get the heal, they slowed down Vanquish tremendously. And from really making this play and retaking Overlook. TJ, he can hold off a 1v2 momentarily without giving up too much map control before help can come. You see the point blank in which he got. Help was a little bit late, but we'll see how Hive can hold this one until he comes off respawn.
Utilization on to the middle hill, so Point total is not going to go too bad too quick. You even see the win condition at the top of the screen change. Xysho trying to get in position down low. 2 players over at the other side of the map. And this is where typically Hive, a team like Hive, will push that side of the map, get control of Overlook, and decide what to do after. But a down coming through is going to slow him for a moment. Xysho goes down. That's going to be on the neutral hill. And you already see a rotation being made off of that. That's going to be TJ going underneath, trying to pick and choose, get the information possible. And they're going to attack the neutral hill almost instantaneously. But they need to get that decap to come through in a few seconds here. Otherwise, they're now going to have to turn on the offensive instead of being defensive.
Now, VQ, that offense is going to have to get turned on momentarily as the B hill is getting decapped. Hive, as they're pressing, they're able to clean up these kills, but they will lose a player in the process of that B hill getting decapped. But can Hive find anything else? Well, they find a few kills. And with that player being in the position which he is, Hive gets a few seconds extra to be able to rotate towards the home hill and get this one capped up in a late game. But will it be enough? It will be 20 seconds to be perfect. SoLuRs at the home hill. It's a 2v2 split on both sides of the map. No hill can be decapped until the lead comes through. And TJ presses. He gets 2. The C hill stays in their control. But in the end, he needs to cap now. He has a second to do it.
Oh my, they hold on. Oh, wait, do they?
Okay.
Did they get it? They got it, please.
Hive comes out on top with round number 2. What a crazy ending, Jacob.
I cannot believe my eyes. They escape by the hairs on their chinny chin chin. They need to be perfect on both battles, and they play it down to the wire. And that's the exciting moments we look for. And almost these are the moments right there, Blaze. If Hive begins to take control of the series, you can pinpoint. Just look at it play out again. Precision gets taken out first. EJ holds the line on one side of the map. Demise and Inzem work together on the other side of the map. That is just incredible teamwork.
Yeah, that decap didn't matter, but you saw it. It ended 249,
oh my
249. And one thing that Ribs wanted us to notice: Demise most damage in the map, playing from that heaven position. Inzem, he's at 2 deaths, 12 assists. Man, both of these guys supporting TJ and SoLuRs, who have been such great slayers. Demise in a 1v1 position goes huge. VQ, they lose a big battle. Well, not just yet, but precision under pressure. Xysho with a big flank. He goes for the home hill. He finds an opening and get behind enemy lines, but the Retro Lancers will get picked. You're going to have to watch out for that. But with 2 hills to Hive name momentarily, they're going to wait for a player to come off a respawn. They're just going to slow the map down because they got some time to work with to be a full 4-man squad and work together to get B again.
Yeah, that was great work by Hndles to kind of maneuver around the map along with Xysho to get that down. There's a player that spawned up that was pressuring from that angle. And look at the full all-around rotation. They continue to put out damage and push these players back. That's their home hill that they're fighting on. Hndles finally goes down, but TJ does as well. The trades, they will continue. Finally, though, Demise, he backs off the home hill of Vanquish, trying to get that position of Overlook, and this is where he's trying to get Xysho down and out. He catches him, he gets the one shot chunk, and he gets the down with the other one. Demise holds his ground, and at the right time as well. They get their home back, they trade, but Vanquish will remain in control of 2.
Oh boy, TJ and SoLuRs, they're leading when it comes down towards the damage category for their squad, and you see why on your screen. Inzem, he's gonna fall. A lot of these players about to hit that 10K mark here going into round number 3. But B hill being captured by Hive. They have their home hill on lock and a man advantage at Overlook. They can't get a player towards God spot, but the revive comes through. What an angle from Demise. He's gonna have both these players harassed and hurt to the point where those players download the B hill, they can bully the angles if they want to. And what I mean by bullying the angles is that when you know a player's weak, pre-fire it. You got 40 bullets in your clip, okay? Pre-fire a little bit, get the first shot in the Lancer battle and commit to it. Have confidence that you're gonna fight and you're gonna win the angle. But you win angles like that, you win positioning, you win objectives, you win rounds, you win maps.
And those are the same angles VQ is using right now with that Overlook shutting down. That's gonna allow them to go ahead and neutralize that hill, get it under their control. TJ being daring, hops over the cover, drops right into their hands. Precision gets the down. Hndles gonna clean that up. They target out Inzem next. This is where VQ, they're going to go ahead and slowly try to get the lead back. No one's going to get over aggressive here in this situation, but on the side of Hive, you see at the top of the map, they're beginning to advance. They realize the key to taking control of either one of these two hills is through this top overlook positioning, whether they're the ones controlling it or just steamrolling through to take control of the hill. But that's going to allow them to press both on both hills simultaneously. They win the fight down low. That hill's going to go under their control, but VQ is winning the fight towards the top half of the map. It's up to Demise, and Demise falls. And I think because of that, that's going to allow both home hills going under VQ control this late in the game. They're on the board.
Ooh, they are finally on the board. And for VQ to stay as composed as they were after that round number 2 L in which they got, my God. But folks, it's just a testament to how close this series has been up until this point. And now VQ with a close round under their belts, they're going to have to take a sigh of relief and know that we are here. We got one on the board. Yeah, the last round, it was unfortunate what happened, but at the same time, you know, they got one on the board and a snipe goes down. We know VQ loves the strategy a lot. Oh, and Hive with the counter. I love it, Jacob, with the torque bow off the opposite end. They say you will not deter us and you will not set the pace of this match. Yeah,
right now it's just about picking and choosing which one of these two weapons you find suitable for your offense, but going to be a 2-2 split going through, and this is where it's going to be Precision and Acells being the duo at the top half of the map. Xysho and Hndles at the bottom going up against, I do believe that might be Inzem and TJ on this side of the map. It's going to go all the way down to the back. Sniper's picked up, but Inzem is going to fall. No revive coming through. TJ gets taken out as well. A missed snipe from SoLuRs, and he doesn't miss twice as he gets the headshot on the Precision, trying to even the tides. Neutral Hill's going to go to Vanquish early on, so the point is going to begin to spread in their favor, but Sniper on this side of the map, Hive beginning to spawn up. I don't think that's going to go in their favor for too long.
I love his route just to get close to a teammate. You see, he's thinking ahead of the game. Just in case I go down, let me be close to Demise, protect the power weapon. Now SoLuRs has a 1v1 for snipe pretty much every round, as it's going to be a 1v1 at B and a 2v2 at Overlook for the torque bow. Vanquish was not expecting that. A Hive, they're okay with it. SoLuRs is going to find a headshot on Acells there mid-map. The down on Inzem comes through. Hive feeling confident and comfortable as they take over the B hill, and it's a 3-man rush to C, up to Acells to do something about it. But can he?
Nope.
I don't know about it. We're going to the second half with Hive up 3-1.
I told you that moment a few rounds ago. That's a moment you can really look back when you try to pinpoint it. I'll save that one for the analyst, but I believe that was a huge turning tides, not only for the series, but for Hive in general. That just gives them an extra boost of energy, feeling like they can do it. And if you look at the damage, Xysho again, 14,000 was 15,000 damage, putting in a lot of work for the team, but you can kind of see they're just unable to clean it up. But on the side of Hive, it's kind of like evenly matched. You can like look at a lot of the assists though going in way of Inzem and TJ, 26 assists combined, which is massive. You see the bolt talk going down low. That splitting power weapons already splitting up this initial. We saw 2-2 around prior, Blaze. In your experience, do you think in either one of these teams is going to switch it up? Do you think we're going to continue to see 2-2s?
No, they can't. They can't. They absolutely can't. With the power weapons on the map, you're going to get your 2-2 at bow, your 1v1 down low at sniper, but the 1v1 may turn into a 2v2 depending on how these players want to play it, because the home hill will be capped off the start. You can get that extra guy in a fight if you want, but you're going to have to make that transition and protect your home hill if you need to, just like how Inzem is going to be protecting his teammate in the corner. Now they're on the hunt for Xysho. He's marked up, but does Inzem want to chase? Is he feeling himself like that? How deadly is he? How bad does he want this round? And it may be pretty bad because he has not stopped moving forward. Xysho still tagged up, and Hive is progressing forward. The angles are there, but ultimately, Xysho not going down is going to force Hive to have to back up.
Oh, almost gets the Xysho really just being as annoying as possible. Acells gets headshotted by SoLuRs, though. You said his name earlier as a great sniper, a great force to be reckoned with on the side of Hive, and they have 2 hills under their control, and this is where it's going to be up to VQ to figure out something, and I think that something is Precision on the other side of the map. As soon as he can sneak up, get that elimination, it's going to force the rest of the members Hive into panic mode.
Bro, man, you know, I think it's only fitting.
He's moving.
Okay, I think it's only fitting that Mello got a yellow jersey, just like how SoLuRs been had a yellow jersey in Hive. The push is coming. Precision with the down. but now SoLuRs in the moment can't get the body shot. The home heal transitions, but Hive feeling comfortable. Don't do it to him. No way. You're not going to thread that needle, but he will protect the flank. The down is there. The quick turnaround. Couldn't get it in time, but Hive here at the front lines is going to get obliterated here by Vanquish. Trip cap domination coming through, and VQ here in the moment feeling confident, but not too confident. Precision is going to have to back up. VQ still feeling confident, but here they're going to have to play for two. Hive, they got time to work with. It's a tie game, and we just got our official lead change.
Ooh, just going ahead and trying to line up the headshot. Gets the body shot on the SoLuRs. Shots over the top. They're going to be able to get the down. Depending on everybody could rotate to get the revive. Only one in that position is going to be Inzem, but he gets cleaned up. TJ goes down at the bottom half of the map as well, so that basically secures the home mill, and that's going to allow Acells to rotate off of that position and stack one more on that side of the map, giving the advantage heavily over to VQ late in the game. With 2 hills, it's looking like they're closing it out. Demise going down. Inzem trapped by himself at the top half of the map, and these players of Hive, both of them need to go big. It's not just TJ, but it's SoLuRs as well. And his time is not on the side. TJ going down. That's it for this round. Vanquish, first round in the half. Hopefully this starts a new Vanquish going into the half. One that can answer the call that Hive set out for him.
We'll see. I need to see Vanquish win 2 rounds for me to be a believer in that one, Jacob. But I still think Hive has all the momentum. We'll see if VQ can get this tied up 3-3 so they could take a breath of fresh air, because they've been playing behind for a while. Ever since map number 2, they've been playing from behind, and we'll see if that starts to weigh on them, because, you know, we saw yesterday in that Rise series, they really couldn't come back from playing from behind in those last 3 maps as Rise took control of the series. But I will say one thing, when it comes down to Vanquish, you know, they can't feel too comfortable after having some dominant maps against some of these squads. They're going to have to reset map after map, and I think they are good at doing that. They probably wasn't expecting this Hive to come punch them in the mouth as hard as they did over these last few maps. But hey, you got to take a lick and keep on kicking. Precision, he picks up snipe. Torque bow in an E-heal should go in favor of Hive. A quick down. Inzem took a funny route, but the smoke is...
Oh my God.
Now he's looking for a steal. Bro, Precision with 2. Demise run. He got hit in the back. He barely got away. Precision with the quick reactions. He's going to shut it down and get a squad to E-heal.
He's reminding everybody at home why his name is Precision. Acells throwing that shock out, separating these 2 players. His moment to strike, but so is TJ's moment right there. Acells going down is going to allow that 1 map push, and especially since they're going to go ahead and bleed him out. But Xysho's not even going to let them bleed him out, killing him, getting him back on respawn as fast as possible. Inzem getting spotted out is going to allow Precision, the rest of VQ, to kind of back up. The shock's going out, going to buy some time for that player in Acells to spawn back up, get into position. You see the perfect rotation come through. Hndles giving up his spot. Acells falling into space, and that's exactly what VQ does best. Anybody can do it at any moment.
Coming. Another headshot is coming. Something's happening. That's the body. That's the down. But the damage is there, and Hive was slowed down here just a bit. But now Hive trying to fight back up top, trying to reset this fight, and I think they do just that. And they're in a great position. They're not too far behind, but Hive is going to stay proactive, stay fighting. They don't want no lull moments here. No, they don't want this map to slow down, because that's when VQ will feel like they're in control. Hive still battling for something, even if it's map control, for kills, for objective, but they have not stopped fighting, and that's a key to victory here against Vanquish. But Inzem, knowing that he has the 1v1, speaking of 1v1s, Demise goes huge against Acells on the opposite end. It may be Demise season indeed, but here at the top, Overlook, Precision, Hndles, they say shut it down.
That's enough as well. Look at the win condition at the top. 2 uncontested hills.
Fight another one.
Oh, he gets taken out. Nobody's staying alive on that side of the map. I would say 2 uncontested hills, and because the neutral was already under the Vanquish control and that second hill was all the way around, they would have been able to hold on to it. But Demise gets taken out. Torque bow and the sniper into the hands of VQ. Instead of pre-firing with sniper, they're pre-firing with the bow. Precision gets a connection onto TJ. Vanquish a few short seconds away from tying this game up. Nice back-to-back shots from Precision, taking out Inzem and securing the round for VQ. And we got 3 apiece for both of these teams. Vanquish have answered the call into the second half, And Blaze, we know it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And it's looking like they're finishing strong, but there's a few more rounds to go.
Yo, we are the dead even time. This series, look at that smoke was thick. That was a thick smoke, chat. Okay? And for him to come back and clap the second person the way he did, straight skill from Precision. But the best Gears of War players in the world, they don't need vision, okay? Because they know where everyone is regardless. They always got a mini map in their head. You don't have to tell them anything because they know what's popping off on the map. They just like a few call outs for reinsurance, okay? And Precision is one of those guys. But we're the dead even tie in this series, tied up 3-3 in map number 3 as we're on board with the man himself as he's going to cut back. Make sure he protects Xysho through the smoke. He goes. He saw the mark. The quick damage comes through, and talk about a heads-up play. Talk about an alpha male here in the lobby as he's going to get the decap at F. VQ in a comfortable position with snipe in the hands of Xysho as well.
As SoLuRs just checking his flank, back-to-back shots, scaring him off, but Precision doesn't scare easily. He's back, returning to the scene of the crime. SoLuRs trying to check him again, but Precision goes down, gets checked to perfection. Inzem goes out, though. The hill's still being fought for on that side of the map, but until then, one's going to back off. Precision not overstaying his welcome, not advancing anymore, waiting for the reinforcements. That's where they're now going to go towards the overlook side of the map. 2v1 opportunity onto Xysho here, but be careful. He almost threads the needle to connect with TJ. And this is where it gets interesting. They're trying to find the elimination. They're trying to take control toward the top side of the map, but VQ maneuvering towards the low side. They have Precision to cross. And Xysho ending Demise. I would say they're going to have to play this one to perfection if they're going to continue to push up. And they slip. They get caught.
They get caught indeed. This is where a Hive is going to show a lot of their character. Not allowing VQ to get to map point, not allowing them to win 4 rounds in a row. It's going to be hard, but in the end, they need to get it done. VQ with a solid defense, the focus on TJ. He doesn't have many moves to make, and a lot of patience coming there from Xysho towards back E, but Inzem, he was able to overextend, take the home hill with the capture. The win condition should switch, and it shall. In this moment, Hive, they take a sigh of relief. But knowing that Xysho doesn't have too many more shots to work with the snipe, Hive's going to have to find one of these power weapons in transition, rather if it's snipe or torque bow. Xysho with 1 left in his clip.
Everybody maneuvering around. The angle out. 2v1 Inzem. That's going to be Hndles over the top.
Was he?
They're going to get both of those home hills. They're getting both of the home hills underneath their control. So the players on this side of the map from VQ, they don't even have to back out, but they go ahead and get that elimination to come through. TJ stuck in no man's land up top. Pistol shots over, and that was almost like a triangle shot. Even Hndles had something to say about it on the other side of the map. 3 straight rounds in a row. Can VQ be stopped?
I don't know, but Hive,
not for me to say.
Now is the time. 24,000 damage for Xysho throughout 7 rounds. He's at an even KD, 9-9 with what, 16 assists? Woohoo! Xysho feeling comfortable. He's taking over. We saw it there in that round. VQ, they looked like they wasn't going to be able to come back in this map number 3, but slowly but surely they were able to slow down the game and get the control back, set the pace. Hive, how do they break that? It's going to take some talented plays coming out of here from Inzem and TJ at the forefront of the fight. Inzem's going to play out wide at the E hill. Going to get some early marks here on Acells. But now, VQ, they're going to be positioned up top. You see how Hive gives it up. They don't want to deal with that just yet. They want to bring this down to a stalemate. But the battle for snipe is going to be huge. Does Xysho get out?
Who gave that up? That was TJ. TJ rotated over, giving that one up. They get that back U positioning, but now if it's worth it, it is going to come down to this. What does Xysho do with the sniper? And that's a question I don't want to ask Xysho. This man almost never misses. Both of these players backtracking to get those instants underneath their control. And this is where the players up top now have to be careful. Once they're in that overlook positioning, not only can they get crossed, but they can get instant from downtown.
And no bias there, right? But I think that's an awesome play from Xysho to be able to get that sniper in a 1v1 by himself, as every other lane is locked up. And you got to ask yourself, who was his guy? Who was the personnel? Who allowed him to get out and get in for free? You know, that's a blunder on Hive, especially when they have no other positioning for power weapons for a heal. You give the guy with the most damage on the map 70 away from a 25K, a free snipe, like he's not going to play for it. That's just a lapse in judgment on the side of Hive. But check this out. Hive is scrappy. One of the best teams we have at our league when it comes down to adjusting. if they're going to have to do something miraculous to get themselves out this position, this next team fight is going to be a big one.
We've seen this all too much. I haven't really seen it too much on training grounds, but district for sure, where they let the score just kind of rack up over and over and over, kind of like that 200-point mark, maybe even a little bit after that. And then they make a mad dash to try to capture the hill, but over the top from down to a little bit too far. He's changing his focus and he connects with Acells, but that's only going to be a trade on that side of the map to come through. 1 for 1. Sniper still in the hands of Xysho. He connects with a body shot onto SoLuRs. No position on that overlook, though. Everybody getting eliminated off that side of the map. So 2 hills going over to Hive, and they absolutely needed this to happen, Blaze, because they trail 1. This is them getting ready to force a game in round number 9.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Here we go. Can Hive get it done? The flash is there, but he doesn't budge. He doesn't budge. He says, you don't have to push me. He knows. He scoots, doesn't budge again. But he has to hop over. The shot is missed. Xysho, my God, he threads the needle. But here comes the other 2 members of Hive. Double down. The L triggers are there. Can they get the last kill on Xysho? They will. But do they quickly turn this into a domination? The mark is there on Hndles, but why would you? It's late game. 15 seconds to victory. Hive, they're comfortable. They're damn near talking about round number 9 in this moment. But as they're picking up kills and they're taking a sigh of relief, I need you in the chat to give some praise to both these teams here on our digital main stage, because we're going to a round number 9 in map 3. It's Hive versus Vanquish, and Hive, they are fighting to make a statement.
There's plenty of people that didn't expect this to happen, but there's a few that did as well. I know Ribs got this was going to be a 3-0, 3-1. He thought it was going to go a little bit handily over the way of VQ, but that goes to show, like I said, very, very similar genetic makeup in these squads. They have aggression mindset first, and you can see SoLuRs going in, not giving up on that sniper play on 1 round. You see Xysho doing it the very next, and really turning the tides in each of those rounds. You see the lock going down on the shock grenade, but Xysho and the rest of VQ hovering over that toke for a moment, so I thought they kind of wanted it out of play, but more focus on towards that sniper, but they're going to choose to lock down shock for shock. And I'm not sure how much that actually affected the initial, if any.
Yeah, we're not sure as well, because you got to play 2 players up right away for E. You got to play 1 at the snipe, and you got to cover that back lane. So they really didn't play a factor at all off the initial, but those shocks still powerful. The flash over the top. Precision gets his off second. He stops the push. The counter comes in from Acells. A lot of damage from Xysho, Acells, and Precision. A focus fire was there to pick up the first kill. But now the defense from TJ, he couldn't get the back A he needed. SoLuRs trying to press forward and stay alive, making sure Heaven's not checking him. But now he can push through. He's marked up, cuts to the spawn. Gonna have a, almost got him. Knowing that he got a 1v1 here for a second. Couldn't get the back A. Good shot from 2 different directions, but by him pushing towards his opponent's side of the map, he may lose the sniper, but his team, they get another opportunity at another fight in this round.
Yeah, if you take note of the initial as well, Blaze, that was like mirrored strategies, but not exact. They just took the strategy of their opponents the round prior, and it looks like VQ played it a little bit better. The sniper went into the hands of Hive because it was Xysho who rotated down and over the top. Stop. They got aggressive. They pushed all the way through to get the eliminations, to get the possession, and they got the torque bow in the hill because of it, which puts them in the driver's seat in this round. They got the elimination onto the torque bow player as well, or the sniper player, I should say. So there's no sniper for Inzem and the rest of Hive to use. So they're going to have to brute force their way through. They're going to have to figure out which pathway they want to send that death ball rolling into.
Now, as Hndles, he's got to check the flank here. He's getting focused just a bit. He's got to slow it down here, knowing that he has someone who's going to be, who has him pretty much checked up. Flash over the top. Hndles going to move over. It's a 1v1 at the home hill. A 2v2 at E. And now, Hive, they're going to need a perfect play if they want to win this one. They push in for their 2v2, but they get crossed up top, and with those 2 kills coming through, the Incendiary misses, but Hndles to compose. I don't think Hive can come away with this map number 3. I don't think they got what it takes. Enough time on the clock. It's 17 left. It's ticking down. No one's at E. And Vanquish being down 3-1. They come back. They show the composure, and they're going to lock in map number 3 training grounds with the lead. It took them a bit, but they get this series back under control, but it wasn't without breaking a sweat.
Yep. Talk about a moment for Hive to really break that momentum of VQ, but they find it in themselves in the second half. He said it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And they finished absolutely strong. Almost 30
away from
30,000 damage. Let's give it to him. Somebody Photoshop 30K. We need to figure out a way to give it to him. Xysho putting on a slaying clinic. Didn't matter if it was the Lancer. Didn't matter if it was the Sniper, Torpo, the Shotgun. He made that map his.
Man, talk about being the greatest pickup, the greatest recruit over the last few splits, right? Whoever allowed VQ to walk away with Xysho as a teammate without trying to make an offer, cut that man a check, man, y'all let that one go back slipping, okay? Because Vanquish was already disgusting, okay? They were winning chips with Sam, all right? They were contending with chips with Bronny. But then you let them get Xysho in. Man, look at him now. Granted, he is only human, but that was a godlike performance that we just saw in that map number 3 training grounds to bring his team back from that 3-1 deficit after the first half and not go down in this series against a hungry Hive roster in our last major of the year. And I gotta set the stage just like that because that's how impactful that performance was. But as you guys see this breakdown, it's a montage for both these squads, Jacob.
Yeah, and you can see that Sniper, either if it was SoLuRs or Xysho, kind of turning the tides left and right. Really world star playmaking plays just made left and right, and it was early game. It was all Hive. It looked like they kind of shifted the momentum on over the side, especially after that map number 2 where they just dominated VQ on Clocktower. I was beginning to believe, but just VQ, I don't know what the moment was. I don't know if they sipped on some G Fuel in between the half. They just looked like a whole different animal, and they just pounced on their opponent time and time again. Didn't let them breathe and didn't let up the gas the entirety of the way through. So that makes me a little scared. It makes me scared for Hive going into control to where they're unleashed. It's not a round-based game mode. If you're getting dominated, Blaze, you're getting dominated.
Yeah, you definitely are. Man, I saw someone make the best comparison in chat. Shout out to Strongest Boxer because Xysho was genetics in Gal 1. At least that's how he's playing currently when it comes down to the play styles. And they almost look like they could be brothers in a sense as well. But man, you know, that just is a testament to how great of a teammate he is. As a teammate, mainly playing support and highlighting his teammates, but also having a potential to be able to take over series and give them another level of offense in which some teams don't get the pleasure of seeing because of how easily they beat some of these squads as it already is. But folks, that's map number 3 in the books. This series ain't over yet. We got to head on over towards Regency Control.
Pro League matches to where a couple of these players hit some World Star plays. I did. I had to go take a lap around my house to calm down.
All right, folks, we're about to watch these players take some laps around Regency because we know it's not time for them to calm down. This series is just heating up. It's Vanquish versus Hive. 2-1 in favor of Vanquish. And so far, VQ, they have definitely been tested in this series. And if you ask me, they have been tested all weekend long. A lot of these squads are competing with them, and they're not backing down whatsoever. They're not running away from fights. They're running head first towards VQ. And you know, they said, you know what, win or lose, we will not die with our backs turned towards you.
Now this game is going underway. You see the strategy coming through. Hive, they're brute forcing that hill, trying to back the players off the grenades, giving up a free M-bar to Acells. I wouldn't recommend that one. SoLuRs going out early, but Hive's going to go ahead and control the hill. Oh my God, he just threaded the needle for the top. He did. He got a body shot onto those players, and Xysho is going to be the cleanup crew to let those go through, just making them feel pressured to get those early kills. Even 16 seconds by Hive to start this game off. A massive amount of this time is going to go to VQ.
What can happen is Hive not contesting for the M-bar, and they also don't contest for the nades. What did you play for? You played for 16 seconds? You guys were that comfortable up against Vanquish with 16 seconds? You didn't want the nades, no M-bar. You didn't think about anything else. You said we want 16 seconds. Okay. Well, Hive, they're going to get that in a rotation on over towards next because they don't got a chance in hell taking Rose Guard with VQ being set up currently. But they do see this push coming from a mile away, and we'll see how Hive can guard against them.
Please look at that arsenal of weaponry on the side of VQ. Like I said, they have shock grenades, they have frag grenades, they have M-bar, they have everything they want, and then a 23-second lead on top of that. So with this hill not going over, you see them already advancing forward. If they lose this push with everything, that's fine and dandy. They're gonna have multiple opportunities. I said VQ does that best, playing into that situation perfect.
If Hive wins this team fight, okay, I might get attacked too on the left cheek. I don't know. But SoLuRs, he's pushing out here. Him and Inzem, they isolate the M-bar. They win the battle. And right now, I'm happy I didn't make no bets, but VQ, as they're rotating towards the back spine, they are able to find a few kills here. But Inzem, he will still be in the hill, and he's going to have TJ with him. Even though Vanquish pressed them, they still have not gotten control just yet. But TJ and Inzem here towards the back portion of the map, they finally go down, and VQ has already assessed that they have another 4v2 to work with. And now we are seeing that those power weapons, you know, they paid off.
Definitely did, but VQ, they're able to kind of sneak away with that shock grenade. SoLuRs gets the M-bar, though. That's the big difference maker here, as long as they can funnel through. Demise getting those frag grenades as well. But with 30 seconds left, you can already see the decision that's being made by Hive. They're backing up. They're getting ready for that next hill, which is going to go to the bottom left-hand portion of the map, where TJ and Demise are set up. They're only going to have the frag grenades on that side of the map. SoLuRs is going to hold the spawn point towards the top. And hopefully it does come through, because the majority of that time it did go in way of Vanquish. 16 seconds off the first hill for Hive, 14 off the second one. So it looks like they're already playing from behind.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like indeed here. Now, from this point on, Hive, they're going to have to find a way. As currently, they're set up for next, okay? Even though they don't have the lead, I think that they're ahead currently when it comes down to the battle and the rotations, because they did rotate early. They have the power weapons, but if they lose this fight, that momentum quickly stacks back in favor of Vanquish, as well as them continuing to set the pace. Hive slowed it down here for a second, but now they have to get the kills. TJ got it down, but everybody's up now. SoLuRs is the focus of attention. He holds his ground, pulls out a shotty. The nades come from afar. Demise being one of the best teammates he can be, and that will be a team wipe on the side of Vanquish. Hive, they're looking comfortable now to get the press up just a bit more, because they know the statue fight is going to be the next focus point of attention. But does VQ really want to take a low side battle? That's not like them, but they may go for it. You're gonna have to deal with this nade though first.
Yeah, I was gonna say they at least at the very minimum need to get him to waste that frag. Oh, and he throws it short too. They can't advance any further. Xysho gets taken out. Players spotted through the smoke. They're able to kind of know exactly where they're coming from. That's a great cross by TJ. Demise cleaning those up, and that was an important hill. We talked important it was because the Hive only scoring 30 seconds between the first two hills. It was a great answer back. Now it's going to go towards the top half of the map, the neutral positioning. Hive is beating them to the punch. M-bar is up as well. They get that elimination over the top. Hndles goes down. Xysho and Acells now have to fight off this onslaught with Precision grabbing those nades. That's going to be the only hope for them. Precision either needs to hold these or use them to perfection.
Oh, Precision as he's moving up here on Inzem. Inzem challenges the Lancer fight. Precision just barely wins it, but Inzem had to help out there to get the last Lancer bullet needed. Gonna let Precision take his own life. New M-bar off the respawn. Here comes 3 members of Vanquish. Hive baiting and switching, going in and out the fight, but Vanquish bullies them around a corner, but TJ flanks for his own. He's going to be able to pick up 2. The revives are there, and Hive is now feeling comfortable here in this map number 4. As they get the new M-bar, they may be able to get a few other things on the map as well. Outside of that, shocks will be the next thing that spawn. But Hive with a deep setup. They're going to be pushing, making sure that they can get the fountain side of the map as well and have a good rotation for next. I like it, but let's see if they can hold.
83-0 run in points right now at this time. Talk about can they continue to hold? They're doing good so far. Over the top. Inzem dealing damage, but he's full red himself. Back A from Precision, gonna end one. Quickly revive, but Acells gets the last lap. Finally, they're ending that drought of points to come through, getting on the board, and luckily for them, that early lead that they had early on is only gonna make them in a 30-point deficit. Hndles turn, tries to put that pistol fire down. Acells trying to regain as much health as possible. That was a big shot fired onto Demise, getting the down, go through, and pushing the rest of the members of Hive back with less than 30 seconds left on the hill. If I'm Hive, I get ready for next.
Also, too, somehow during that team fight and that breakout, some player from Hive ended up giving up the respawns here towards the fountain side of the map, the cog spawn, as they pressed up. And I just don't know if that happened when a team fight was already lost or what, because he got to hold that down for his squad. Ultimately, it is Vanquish down. Ooh, Inzem saves. That's 2 kills pretty much. The Inzem just got there in the moment, and now Hive can move up. They still need to work for these spawns, unless they're okay playing from this position. I think they have to be okay with it, because with Hndles getting away, he did ensure his squad got good spawns, and so now they can get the quick contested. And because if they got these spawns, if heals continue to get traded out, help will come quicker, because Vanquish has this side of the map. But they want to make sure they can pinch Hive from multiple different angles, getting distractions. You got Acells distracting 2 players, giving his team the go to push forward. He's still distracting 2. He's forced to 1v1. But with that being said, the other members from Hive are holding their ground in a 2v3, and they will get the win in the team fight. Ultimately, great effort from Acells, but even better defense from Hive.
Yeah, that was just massive. Even though Demise didn't get a kill, that goes to show 3 different frag grenades controlled by Demise and Hive. They get the M bar yet again towards the top. I don't know if this is Demise. I don't know if this is Keem in their ear. I don't know who's timing the weapons for them, but you better make sure you give that player a raise. There's lots of fire going down through that smoke. TJ Inzem doing the brunt force of that damage. Xysho doing what he can along with Hndles to even up the fight. Inzem's going to fall. TJ ready to get his hands dirty, but he's going to fall. That's the M bar out of play. TJ gets taken out, and the hill will change hands. 30 seconds left on this hill, and this is the first points VQ's getting off of this one.
Man, Vanquish, that was a beautiful hold. I didn't think they were going to win that one, but you saw, I think that was going to be Xysho and Hndles just with their back to the map and all of Hive in front of them. They collected on some honey, and they got a big jar of it too as well. Ultimately, VQ, they're still down by 21. And at this point, Hive, they're going to start rotating 4 necks up top at couches. They will have the setup. They also got intel on where VQ is pushing from. I think they were able to get a head count on 3 players. But we can kind of tell for the main map the direction which the arrows are watching. Player 1 has to watch the flank. That's SoLuRs. But for now, Hive, they are expecting a push to come down low from gold. The hill is now officially transitioned. VQ, they don't got much time to work with because the lead is racking up here for Hive. Vanquish, how much more you got to think about? You had time to formulate the push, but now they don't like the look. They're going to send players 6 and 8 up top. They're going to get assessed by SoLuRs. He's going to check up, calls it out, but here comes the flashes. Xysho presses forward. Acells finds an opening to the back. He's going to get an angle. The shot proved to be monumental because now Hive can't turn his corner without getting past Acells' right hand. But as I say that, they do have the flashes and util to move up just a bit. But Vanquish being able to bully their way up forward to get some powerful sight lines, and they say all we need is the angle sight lines to hold you back. We don't have to get into that shotgun range. We can quickly make you push into our hands and play our game, and Vanquish just flawlessly did that.
Triple kill from Acells. Gets a little help from Hndles though. Looking for the 4-piece as he's trying to chase down the last member of VQ and basically gets it under his belt. He's going to let that one kind of bleed out though. An ace for Acells, a little bit of help on the side. They get that M-bar control for just a moment though as they get quickly taken out. See the weapons there on your screen. Nothing is up right now and being able to be used. You see the rotations being made. That kill is going to go down towards that Rose Garden. We have a tie game, Blaze. When was the last time you see a tie game going back to their original set of hills?
Bro, we went back to P1, folks. Barely broke the 150-point marker, but it's just a testament to how close this series is. It is the summer major, and we got the best Gears of War players in the world battling out for you guys for gore and glory, for a chip to win for the fans. And speaking of chips, Inzem's gonna come in, chip 2 kills for him. Xysho with a quick wraparound, trying to save it for his squad, but can he win another 1v? Whew. I told you, Inzem, he's looking for a chip.
Yep, he's looking to kind of end this one here.
He's
He's trying to end all the haters right here. He's trying to end them all right now. The season-ending championship, that's going to be the most important one. You're going to get bragging rights for quite a while. You already see the roadmap for the next season, so Thankfully, you can kind of plan out your vacations here and there, but Hndles, he has those frag grenades towards Road Garden. Enough time to gain the lead and a little bit of a cushion to allow yourselves to kind of rotate over. But we know VQ, they rotate off these hills a little bit early to give themselves a cushion, but Hive knows how close this game is. They want to fight for every second. SoLuRs gets taken out. Players are split up left and right. TJ is going to fall, and that's just one of the worst times that can happen, because now VQ is going to be able to rotate on the other side of the map and get first towards the spawn point and the next hill.
Now, VQ, with their early rotation, as you said, they have the spawn point. They just acquired 2 kills, but it is going to be 3 members already spawned up here for Vanquish. Now, can they get the numbers back here? You see how they don't slow down, but with a nade from the side, it is quickly dodged, and the players from Hive get back into position, but not before Vanquish push out the damage. TJ can't stay alive, but these other Hive members, do they retreat? They make the right move. They choose not to stay, not to stagger their deaths, because they don't have much to give up here. They don't have much time to work with. Vanquish has already came back and taken the lead here in map number 4. And now, how long can they hold it? Hive, they got the power weapons to work with, but an M-bar in the hands of Demise. Can he rise to the occasion here in this moment and get the headshot that his team needs to get into that hill and stop the bleeding and not allow Vanquish to continue to rack up this score? In the moment, we're about to find out, because SoLuRs, he's going to take a wide angle. He's going to focus too. Demise moves up, can't find a fight in which he won't, the shot in which he needs, but he's charged up, misses the second. A little bit of a bounce there from that player in the spawn of Hndles. He's going to move in, force Demise into the 1v1. He's playing his position right, but Demise wants to be a better teammate, trying to help his squad out with the 2v2 fight. Couldn't get the wrap shot, and that's a team fight win for Vanquish.
That was a big team fight win as well. They block everybody off, and the thing is, even if Hive won that fight, Vanquish are already bled more than half of the time off of the clock, so they're going to be able to rotate over to the next. They're going to get the shock grenade. I do believe they were kind of able to get frag grenades as well, so they're kind of set up. It looks like they're going to be getting ready to push. And Hive and the rest of, the Hive, SoLuRs, and the rest of the teams, they're going to have to come up big on the defensive side of things. Otherwise, it's going to be over. 41 seconds. That's almost half the time of the hill.
Oh, it is almost half the time indeed. But just 2 good holds is all Hive need to have all their confidence back. They got the rotation early, and they forced VQ to have to play from the low side again. Vanquish, I don't know if their rotations are just a little bit late. Nice heads-up play for SoLuRs for the revive. The angles are there for Hive. They know no one's behind them. For Vanquish, they make it into the hill. They don't care how long they stay here. They're going to keep racking up time. They got their angles locked in. Hive even allowing VQ to get to the spot was problematic. That's a beautiful flash. Allows SoLuRs to move up to the cover with a right hand. A few nades behind him. He can't do much. Just downs, no kills. Vanquish is in a position to win this game. They're trying to get the next one, but can Hive fight their way out with a meat shield in hand? Can they get another kill? Demise goes huge. They get another down, but he couldn't get the next, and ultimately, I debated y'all. It wasn't another down. It's Vanquish winning the 2v2 fight, and now they get to keep racking up time. They went off this hill. Hive so close to going to the losers bracket, but Inzem, he's not having it, trying to get in. Him and SoLuRs working together. Hive in a moment to contest. They find a kill, but can they get the revive? Inzem with a beautiful back A, a duck, a dodge. He couldn't get the shot, but TJ moves in, and he gets put back to the spawn from afar. SoLuRs has tried to do what he can to help his teammates in the fight, but it's Vanquish who will win this 3-1 and progress to the semifinals.
What a phenomenal map between these two. Just back and forth almost the entirety of the way through, but it was hill number 6, Blaze. It was hill number 6 where Vanquish put their foot on the gas. It was tied at 159 apiece. And then from there was a few points scored from Hive, but it was just VQ and Xysho. Yet again, between those 2 maps, the last 2 maps alone, 50,000 damage by Xysho. He is putting on a show, and he is ready to prove their dominance. 5 E-Days in a row, 2 championships this season, and he is still hungry for more.
Bro, the fact that Vanquish gets 6-2'd, okay? They get 6-2'd on Clocktower. Xysho was shut down, and then they're down 3-1 in the escalation, and he says, man, enough is enough, okay? Enough is enough. 50K between the last 2 maps. Vanquish wins it in a 3-1 fashion, and it just shows his worth for this squad and how he steps it up in these moments for his team when that was a sales job, when it was Precision's job. Okay, and it's still their job, but they got 3 levels of offense, all right? And let me know, and I'm no shade to Hndles, but Hndles, no, he got an easy life. And when he pops off too, this squad, man, it's hard to get through them.
Right now, the thing I love, and not right now, just overall, the thing I love about VQ, every single one of these players are NVB material. It's like you're playing with some of the greatest of the greats. It's like you have LeBron, you have Kevin Durant, you have Russell Westbrook, you have Giannis on your team. There's just so many superstars on your team. It doesn't matter who has the ball, they're gonna make a play and they're gonna score points. And VQ, they're just looking like an all-star roster. And honestly, it's hard to bet against them. What Rise was able to do, that backdoor sweep, it shows how impressive something like that really is. That wasn't easy. It doesn't matter how easy Rise made it look in those last couple of maps. It is just probably one of the hardest things to do in Gears Esports. And Vanquish is showing that it possibly was a fluke. They're just asserting their dominance yet again here on Saturday.
Man, they really are. They're showing their consistency here, but we have to give a lot of love to Hive, okay? I know the analyst desk is going to give them a lot of love, but man, Jacob, Hive fought and made this one an exciting series. And my God, it honestly could have went either way. Okay, if Hive gets to that execution, bro, if they get to that execution, man, that game 5, I think Hive can pull away with it. They kept the controls close. The escalation went to around number 9. That's where Hive had to pull away with it. But I will say this, Hive, at least this, that they know that when it comes down towards the round-based game modes, they can compete with anybody here in this league, okay? They know that they can win those without a doubt, no matter the map, because of the type of team in which they are. But the respawns, they have to keep them close. And man, you know, they almost did it, bro. Oh, they almost did it on the 2.